Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're doing good with best of your health. Welcome to the session. I'm Shakil Ahmed from Training Department of Deanship of E-Learning and IT. Today we're going to have discussion about question bank in LMS system. It's basically the connectivity of the last session. In last session, we have discussed about e-assessment. And being a teacher, we all are aware that assessment could have a life cycle, and every assessment life cycle could contain five different steps. That step one, it start from the create, and then we do need to deploy, and then take and grading, and in the end we review. And all these five steps could let us know that to analyze the assessment of the learning process of a student. And as we know that learning or assessment is not only important for the students, that assessment also important for the teacher, because the teacher is using different kind of methodology for learning. And by analyzing the students in day to day or weekly or monthly, using different type of assessment, using the quizzes or sending them assignments, he or she can analyze that whether the teaching methodology they are using that is effective for the students, or they need to change their criteria. Another thing, that you cannot make decisions, or you cannot make assessment for the students in the same level. For example, in last session we already discussed that, for example, you have 50 students, and it's not possible that all the students could have at the same level of understanding. So teachers need to analyze on individual basis that if 5 or 10 students are performing 100% and remaining are performing 70%, and some might possible performing with 30 to 40%, so how you can meet them, communicate with them, and individually analyze the problems and try to solve with them. Assessment basically tell the teacher about the effectiveness of his her teaching. The basic purpose of the evaluation is to make a judgment about the quality or worth of the educational program or proficiency of the students' attainment, either the students performing in a better way, or you need to focus more to make them understand that they need to change the behavior towards the learning. But like this was all about the assessment that was normally we perform inside the classroom, inside the university or in the campus. But COVID-19 pandemic that accelerated changes in the educational system. The spread of COVID-19 has led to the closure of educational institutions all over the world. Such closure enhanced the development of the online learning environments within those institutions so that learning would not be interrupted. It's hard to deny that computer and online learning have taken a prominent role in modern society. From the smartphones in our pocket to smart devices controlling our appliances at home, and everything in between, computer technology is everywhere. And it should come as no surprise that the use of computer in education has completely transformed traditional education. Computers in the classrooms have multiple benefits for both students and their teachers. You can say in modern teaching methodology, computers are used actively in education to improve the quality and learning outcomes. Teachers can use audio, video, graphic aids, using computer to prepare lessons plans and many more things. But all these things are helping us. And one more research I want to share with you, that according to the article published in an internet page, and that was the name of the future of computers, that 65% of the time the computer is used for the internet. It means that all of us are spending our 65% of our time on the internet, using different kind of social media platforms, using for learning, using for to playing the game, or many more things which happening with that one. So what would have to do with this kind of internet activity, and that we already discussed that COVID-19 completely changed the way of life, the lifestyle, and I mean, like just because of the social distancing and closure of institutions, almost all the traditional education, especially in Saudi Arabia, been transformed on online learning from last 1 year almost. This is the, I mean, like gonna be second semester online. So we do need to make understanding with the learning management system, that how we can utilize that learning management system for our virtual classrooms, for assessment, and how we can create different type of question banks. And this type of question banks or pools can make us this can make the easy way of processing of assessment, to send the questionnaire to the students to analyze their learning capability. And the best way to predict the future is to create it. So let's take a start for our today's topic, that is question bank and question pool. This question pool is almost identical to test queries and questions. They can contain feedback and all the other elements of the test questions, but they don't contain point values. You need to set them out by yourself. Instructors typically use pools to create a database of questions. They can reuse them in multiple tests, in queries, in quizzes, and for their assignments. For example, that an instructor for a sustainable living course can create a question pool for each of the central topic taught: diet, housing, and energy, and many more things. The instructor can then use these pools in multiple tests and in other courses as well. The best thing for the online learning is that you need to create resources one time, and you can reuse them multiple times and multiple locations. For example, one teacher is teaching for 5 classes the same subject, so he do not need to recreate the resources multiple time. He just need to create resources, upload to the system, and he or she can reuse all these resources for all of their for the students, for the different classes. You just need to import and export their questions, their assignments, their course contents from one place to other by one click. In simple words, you can say that question pool is a collection of questions that is stored for a repeated use. You can create one database, and in that database, you can recall your questions even you have created 1 year ago. And this database or pool system can make you able to upload questions for every semester. And every semester, for example, you are uploading 100 questions, so semester 2 you could have 200 or 300, 400, 500. So as many questions you could have it, you can play with that question pool as per your requirement, as per your need. And another good thing that pools can give the results, that every, for example, to avoid the cheating, there are multiple options available in the time of implementation or deployment of the test. You can randomize the answers, even you can randomize the questions, and you can make sure by using the system like specifications, or using some different kind of tools, that every student, for example, in one class, there are 30 students are sitting, so every student can receive the different question. And even if he or she received the same similar questions, but there are shuffling of the answers, so they could not manage to cheat with each other. So I think so this is the best way. to follow the steps online and to create some kind of assessment to assess or analyze in a better way. So steps to follow, that what we do need in our pools assessment. First of all, we are going to have a question bank using pool. The second one is you need to build. First, it means you need to create the question bank. Then you need to build a test, and in the last one, in last steps, you need to deploy a test. All these three steps are you need to follow in a sequence. Creation of the question bank, that is completely different, and building a test doesn't mean you are deploying the test. Build the test means you have using the different criteria, different pool sets, you can create the test what you want to deploy for the students. But that is at the building stage. In the stage 2, that is not available for the students, so students would not be aware what you are doing, but you have to prepare and keep it with you. And in the last stage during the exam, I mean, like a specific time, you can deploy that test to the students to implement it. In between that, there is two different options available: add random block questions in the set, and added the number of questions to display, added the points per questions, a random block and question set. There are two options available at the time of building a test, and we would have more understanding with both of them options, that how they can use it. We do have a detailed discussion in coming slides. Once you have chosen random block, either random block or question set, then you can add the number of questions to display, that how many questions you want to display. For example, from one pool, there are 50 questions, but you want to display the 10 questions to the students to answer. So you can adjust all these steps, and I mean, all the settings, you can do it by yourself in the system. Added the points per questions, I mean, like this is another good option for the teacher, that for example they have 10 questions, and they belongs, I mean, like all these questions belong to different sections of the subject. So every point can be very, I mean, like you can make changes as per your requirement. For example, for a question number 1 need the 10 points, the question number 5 needs the 5 points. So as per your requirement, you can adjust it. In the last, you need to deploy. Once you've done everything, deploy mean now test is ready to available for the students, and student can attempt that test. And after deployment, you can edit setting options, all these things. Before attempt, you can make the setting and options changeable. I mean, like you can set the password, or availability of the test, or the time or date. Everything you can change before the attempt, or before the time of attempt. So let's take a start. We do have very useful tutorial with me. So I'm gonna have a tutorial how to create a pool that would give you an idea that how you can take a start with the question pool.
Instructors can use pools to create a collection of questions to use in multiple assessments. Pools group questions so that they can be imported and exported. Pools are also used to create random blocks and for question sets for use in tests and surveys. This tutorial will show you how to build a pool, set details, and add questions to it. To begin, access the Tests, Surveys, and Pools tool from the Course Tools section of the control panel. Next, access the Pools page, and then click Build Pool. Complete the pool information page, and then click Submit. Now you can create questions, find existing questions, or upload questions to the pool. For this example, we will select Find Questions to add existing questions to the pool. Search for questions by expanding and selecting criteria to narrow your search. Questions that match the criteria will automatically appear in the center frame. Select the questions you want to add to the pool. You can select the questions individually, or you can add all the questions by selecting the checkbox at the top of the checkbox column. Now click Submit. Let's review. First, access pools and add a new pool. Then enter details, find questions, select the questions, and then submit.
Keep in mind that pools are never deployed or made visible to the students. As I said earlier, that the time you are trying to deploy something, it doesn't mean like they are available for the student as well. In pool section in this tutorial, you have seen there are three main options which were important to discuss. That was number one, create a question. If you do not have a question bank, you are new, so you need to create the question sets, and you need to create the pools. And if you already have created the pool, then you can reuse the question that is called find the questions. And the third option is available to upload the questions. If you already have a Word file or the Excel file, and you want to upload in the system, you can do it. And we have a detailed discussion about how to upload the questions in later on slides. The next section is this. In this section, we have to discuss about question set versus random block. Why that is important? Because at the time of building the test, you need to follow one of them. So we do need to understand what is the difference between random block and question set. In simple words, it's a long discussion about question set versus a random block. But in one sentence, I can tell you that random blocks draw questions from pools only. So you can't include questions from other tests or surveys. A simple example is that, for example, you have 50 questions and you want to deploy a test to the students. By using random block, you would not be able to select question number. For example, you need 10 questions to deploy to the students. You would not be able to select one by one from the 50 questions. For example, you are looking for 1, 5, 7, 8, 10, 15. I mean, like, your specified question would not be able to select over there. Random block would have select by itself from the 50 questions to send them to the students to attempt it. But question set is an advanced shape of random block. If you choose the question set to build a test, it means that, for example, you have 50 questions and three section of your fill in the blanks, and some like multiple choices questions, some short answer questions. But you want to choose the questions by your choice from 50 questions. So you can make check boxes are available. So you can check question number 1, question number 5, 7, 11, 20, 25, 30, and you can collect 10 or 20 questions as per your specified requirement. So from that selected 20 questions has to be like implemented or sent to the students to attempt it. So major difference is like in random block, you cannot choose questions by yourself, and you cannot choose or include questions from other tests or surveys which already you have created. But in question set, you can do all these options. You can choose by your choice, or you can bring the questions from the other tests and surveys you already created. So these two have the different functionality. But sometimes, like random block give you an options to deploy the test in a very simple and easy way. You do not need to worry about selection of the questions or something like that. But for example, in some kind of subjects, you are looking for some customized settings, so you have to go with the question set. So we're gonna see how to create random block. I have two different tutorials by using random block and question sets. So this would give you an idea that how you can create or build a test using random block. So stay tuned, look at that one. As we discussed, this random block are used to be sure, I mean, like for the each student receive a different version of test, and random blocks draw questions from pools. I mean, like the first point is similar for definitely for both of the options, but random blocks are used to show that each student receiving the different version of the test. So you do need to have a long list of questions, 50 questions. For example, you need 10 questions or 5 questions to display for the student. So you would have 50 or 100 or 200 questions. So system can shuffle or I mean, like make them changes and send to the students and try to make it confirm that every student is receiving the different question set to attempt it. So here is a tutorial. Let's have a look.
When creating a test, you can use random blocks to ensure that each student receives a different version of the test. A random block is a set of questions retrieved at random from one or more question pools to be presented each time the test is taken. This tutorial shows you how to create a random block, add the random block questions to a test, edit the number of questions to display, and edit the points per question. To begin, create or access a test. You can access the Tests tool in the Course Tools section of the Control panel. We will edit an existing test and add a random block. Access the test's contextual menu and select Edit. On the test canvas, point to Reuse Question on the action bar to access the drop-down list and select Create Random Block to begin searching for questions. In the Create Random Block pop-up window, select one or more pools. Random blocks draw questions from pools only, not other tests. Narrow your search by selecting at least one question type to include in the test. All questions that meet the criteria appear on the right side of the pop-up window. Click Submit. A success message states the random block of questions has been added to the test. Next, assign the number of questions to display to students. Use a number less than the total number of questions to be sure that different questions are presented each time the test is accessed. Click Submit. The same point value is assigned to each question in the random block. You cannot assign separate point values for individual questions in the same random block. Therefore, you may want to only include questions of approximately the same difficulty. Click Preview Questions that match selected criteria to expand or collapse the list of questions. You can view and edit individual questions. You cannot delete questions in the random block. Click OK at the bottom of the page to return to the Tests page. Let's review. First, access a test. Then, create a random block. Add the random block of questions to the test. Edit the number of questions to display. Edit the points per question. And submit.
So that is a really important point. If you don't want to, I mean, like want a questions to be included in your random block, you cannot delete it. That is not possible. So keep in your mind while creating a random block. But one more thing that is important, that